Your trail arm almost works like a door. It can open and it can close, and it needs to do both in the golf swing. But far too many golfers are closing this door too soon or too early in the golf swing. And it's causing you to hit poor strikes, it's causing you to slice the ball and lack power. So I'm going to teach you how there are 3 places in your golf swing which are crucial that you keep that door open. So I've got this little device on my arm. It's just a homemade device. It's actually a sweatband with a rubber tee from the driving range. I've just put it on the inside of my elbow, and just throughout this video it's going to help us kind of see and understand what the rotations or what the opening and closing looks like in my trail arm. So let's start with a little demonstration. Let's just get you to feel what opening and closing this door feels like. So just take your trail hand and just place it in front of you. You can see that my palm is facing down towards the target. Now from here, we have rotations of the shoulder. That allows you to close the door. You should feel that's relatively easy. You should feel like you've got a big range of motion. And you have got the ability to open the door. Now that will feel more difficult, and for many of you, when you do that, you're going to start to feel that in your shoulder. But you'll see how I can, from here, I can open that door and I can close that door. So the first place where many golfers get this wrong is that they are setting up with their door closed. Now when I close the door, look where that tee starts to point. More down towards the target. So if I take a setup to this ball and my tee is pointing down towards that target, that's telling me that my door or my trail arm is internally rotated. Now that's going to lead to quite a few issues as I move the club back and away. What we see from really good players, and the majority of players, is that when they're in this setup position, the inside of the elbow actually points a little bit more out in front of them. You can see there that tee now starts to point a little bit more towards the camera. It's probably not quite directly, it's probably more over to there. If the golf ball is at 12 o'clock on the clock face, to me this tee is around about 11 o'clock just in front of the golf ball. The last thing I want you to do is have this routine that I see so commonly where a golfer has the club in their lead hand and they reach on top with that trail hand. Because what that does is it gets the tee pointing towards the target. That is my trail arm closed or internally rotated. And I say that's going to make taking the club away so much more difficult. So the first thing I'd love you to do is open that door as you set up to the golf ball. Try and have the inside of the elbow pointing a little bit more out towards 11 o'clock, or the sensation that the inside of the elbow is pointing more over the golf ball. If I took this device off, you would be able to see the sort of inside of my elbow. The back of my elbow points down towards my pocket. It does not point back behind me in this direction here. Now we move on to the second sort of phase of this video. In the backswing, your door needs to open even more. So when we do that, it allows us to set the golf club on the correct angle. Swing plane, if you like, or the shape of the golf swing. But in so many golfers' cases, this door or this trail arm closes in the backswing. Like I said at the start, it closes far too soon. And when that happens, we get poor arm structure and we get poor club position. Now, this often happens when the golfer doesn't rotate well enough. So if I don't rotate my body, maybe I'm someone who's too focused on the club head, or maybe someone I'm too positional focused, I'm worrying about where the club's got to go. What can often happen is when we don't rotate the body, the arms get forced into some positions we don't really want them to be in. Here, have a look at this trail arm position. It doesn't look right. The elbow's pointing too far behind me. It's significantly higher than my left, and from the face on, the arms are getting far too narrow. So this should be a trail arm which is internally rotated or closed. Look where that T points. It points pretty much out in front of me, if not a little down to the ground. If I can open my door, T points more up towards the sky, that allows me to get the golf club into a perfect position. So when we look at the backswing, we are taking our trail arm and we are effectively opening that door as much as we can in that backswing. We're making this movement. A really simple way you can sense and feel this is to grab something quite small. This is the alignment stick cover that I just have in my golf bag. And I'm going to put that as high as I can under my trail arm. Now, if I close my door in the backswing, so arm internally rotates, then that alignment stick is always going to drop to the floor because my trail arm is out of position and my elbow works too much away from my side. What I'm looking to do, I can't make a full backswing with this in place, but what I can do is get my lead arm to around about level with the ground, so halfway into the backswing. And if I can keep this in place, what that's going to do is ensure that my trail arm is opening. That puts my elbows more level, you can see that. It enables me to create more width and it enables me to set the golf club onto the right plane. Now we don't hit the golf ball in the backswing, but if I can set the angle of the golf swing, I can set my trail arm, it's going to make the downswing much simpler. So this is a great little exercise. Like I say, I don't want you to make full backswings, but I want you to go halfway back, squeeze the alignment stick. And because I'm squeezing the alignment stick, it's controlling my arm. This is that exact same move that I got you to feel and rehearse at the start of the video. If I close the door, this is going to fall. If I open the door, I can squeeze it. And I'm trying to feel like I squeeze and put some pressure onto that alignment stick cover, because that is me externally rotating my arm. When we go back to this position, as I close the door, you can see that my elbow moves away. As I open the door, I'm pushing the elbow more into the center line of my body, which squeezes the alignment stick. So we can absolutely hit shots over a short distance, working on those first two elements. At setup, can I get my door slightly open with the T pointing at 11 o'clock? Yes, I can. Can I then make a backswing where I squeeze the alignment stick and open the door further? Yes, I can. So I should be able to go ahead and hit shots over a relatively short distance, but really working on that trail arm position. Final stage where you can get this wrong, and so many golfers get this wrong, is they close the door too early in the downswing. What would that look like? Well, if I put this back on my bag, if I get to the top in a good position, if I close my door too soon, what do I get? I get steep, I get over the top, and from the face on, I get a trail arm which is back away from my body, and I really struggle to get the shaft forward. So if I close my door too soon, I get shallow, scoopy, flippy impacts, and I often get a steep downswing where the club cuts across the golf ball. Now that's going to be pretty common for many of you. So if I go ahead and try, get to the top and really get my trail arm closing too soon, oh, that felt pretty horrible. That was awful. So what we have to do, this is the key to ball striking. In the backswing, we have opened the door. In the downswing, we need to keep it open for effectively as long as we can, and then we need to close it through impact. If you close it too soon, you're going to struggle. So this is where we can really start to use this little device on my forearm. I'm going to get the club away for a moment because I'd love you to do this without a club. And if you don't have this on your arm, you don't need to, but you can just reference the inside of your elbow. So we've made our backswing. What I want you to work on now is how you move and you deliver your trail arm. As I make the right move and I hold my door open, there's two things that you're going to see. Number one, the inside of the elbow is leading the wrist. So you can see that there. And the T, or the inside of the elbow, is pointing pretty much back towards you as you're viewing this. Let me now close my door, and you're going to see something very different. Now you'll see that the wrist is closer to the target than my elbow, and the inside of the elbow points towards the target. Now, if you've got any footage of your golf swing in slow motion from face on, take a look at it and have a look at what that trail arm is doing. I'd almost guarantee that if you're someone who struggles with any of those shots that we mentioned a moment ago, you're going to be seeing something like this. Wrist is leading the elbow, big gap in here, very shallow, going to struggle. If we can get you to keep that door open, then you're going to deliver the club a lot more consistently. And when you do close it, that's going to give you a huge amount of speed through impact, which is exactly what you want. And just watch what happens when I start to rehearse it with a golf club. What happens is I end up with a golf club in a really good delivery position. Notice how it's fractionally behind my hands, which is really going to benefit me in terms of path and delivery. If I start to make that poorer movement, we start to get the club outside the hands, and we know what happens from there. We're going to change our delivery, we're going to change our attack angle. So I'm now going to hit some shots where I go, open the door slightly, open it as much as I can, keep it open, keep it open, keep it open. There's my reference. And now I can pivot through and I can close that door. So my trail arm now is more internally rotated. But it was never internally rotated until I got to impact.